before we go live on it, I would like to welcome all those who are going to watch this live interaction live. It will be great to see all your comments, inputs in the live chat box, because that is what keeps our youngsters encouraged to ask more questions and bring something really great out of the live interaction. So good morning, everyone. Once again, welcome you to this live interaction, which is organized by a team at Intellectual Property Talent Search Examination. As you all know, this is the first of its kind IP Olympiad, and it certifies individuals basis proctored examination. Just to let you know for a clarity, that IPTSC activities are not just limited to hosting examination, but there is a whole lot of other stuff that is done by a lot of people who are supporting this initiative wholeheartedly. And this includes developing research papers, research reports, organizing awards, developing some interesting IP videos which are relevant to the existing times, and also holding debates, conferences, and webinars. Weekly interaction with IP experts is another such activity which is organized by IPTSC, like the one that we are doing right now. And team is super pleased to welcome Paulomi Ghosh. She has 16 plus years of experience, and she's a certified patent licensing professional from UK. She's currently serving in the University of London. She's one amongst, those very rare set of people who actually enable bringing ideas from mind to market. In fact, when I was speaking with few of my friends in the IP fraternity, including Paulomi, I got to know that IP licensing experts are far few in the world, and even fewer when it comes to India. And therefore, I think it's an interesting opportunity for all of us to be interacting with Paulomi, who is one amongst those very few, select few, those who we can count on fingers, who is in midst of us. And it's also great to see, as you can see from the video, there are two entrepreneurial students, Ahilya and Tanmay. They are from engineering college, the Cummins College, Pune, and they will be interacting with her. And I was super amazed interacting with these two young girls. I'm sure one of them is going to be a budding inventor, and the other is going to be a social media enthusiast, because that's the kind of fire that I see in them. And with engineering background, I'm sure with the kind of inputs that today Paulomi will give, it is going to not only help them, but the entire community out there who are inventors, creators, faculties, researchers. And request you all to please post your comments. Continue to do that. It encourages all of us. And before we get started, IPTSC team thought that we, in order to keep our audience completely engaged, we have tried to devise a question. And again, request you all to post your answers in the live chat box over there. Persons with best answer may get a chance to even become a youth leader for IPTSC. You may never know. And there, I've just heard from the team that there could be a surprise gift voucher. This is all just done to encourage you to move into the field of IP. So here is the question, and then I give the baton to Ahilya and Tanmay. So we are often in the midst of intellectual property, and we don't even realize that most of the times. We end up agreeing to a lot of licenses, and it really doesn't matter for an individual to sit across the table and negotiate. So IP is experienced more often by all of us than we really witness it with our eyes. Consider a hypothetical situation that you wish to see a movie and you want to go to a movie theater. Identify that from the time you buy a ticket to the time you finally watch the movie, what are the kinds of intellectual property that you come across with, and what are the types of licenses that you actually witness? So this is the question for all of you. You may please post at any time during this 30 minutes of interaction. There is no hurry. Itna jaldi nahi hai ki aapko bhi dalna hai. You can actually hear Paulomi, her expert comments, and accordingly you can devise your answers. So with this, I welcome Paulomi once again to you. Thanks for joining in today.
Thanks, Sheetal. I'm humbled with the introduction. So I'm really excited to interact with Alia and Tanmay, and yeah, as I always say, all pass to the girl. And I'm really looking forward to sharing my knowledge. And yeah, here we go.
All right. Okay, then Ahilya, Tanmay, floor is all yours. And maybe Tanmay, you wants to go ahead with your first set of question to her?
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, we are really, it's our pleasure and privilege to have you here with us. So, I have my first question for you. So, you had your initial education in the field of chemistry. So, after that, what drew you to the field of IP, and why did you choose this career in licensing of IP?
So yeah, I did my master's in chemistry, and IP was by chance that I came to, and I'm very indebted to my interview panel when I went to Ranbaxy for my interview as a medicinal chemist, and they offered me a job in intellectual property, and I was brave enough to take it up, but I have never regretted that decision. So it was by chance that I came to intellectual property, which was in 2005. Just I won't say it was starting there; it was already there. But with the Indian patent law being reintroduced in 2005, so it was a new era for me. And ever since 2012, I have worked in the pharmaceutical sector as a IP professional. And after that, it was a conscious decision to move into IP management, and slowly it led into technology transfer or IP licensing. That's what I do now. So it was by chance, but I'm very happy that I took that chance.
Yes, ma'am. I'll go ahead with our second question. So, actually, ma'am, what let our audience know what actually IP licensing is, and why do companies need IP licensing? And also, if you can share something about technology transfer, which is your forte right now. So, can you
Yeah,
enlighten us about it?
sure. So as I always say, licensing, to take licensing, it's just like a permission. So when you have something like a technology or any intellectual property that you have created, when the other person wants to use it, you give a permission to that person to use it, and that's what licensing is in very simple terms. Uh, and it follows a lot of process, of course, and in the whole process, when the IP creation from the creator moves to the person who wants to use it, the whole process is the technology transfer that we term it as. And why people should license technology, it's various reason for it, right? Now that the scenario that Sheetal gave, like booking a ticket in the movie theater. So when you are using the software to book it, so that is somewhere you are taking a license from somebody who has developed the software. When you are watching the movie, somebody has made the movie. There is a creative right over there that has been licensed to be produced into the whatever animation or whatever the script that is copyrighted, that has been licensed to be used to produce the movie. So there is a whole range of intellectual property that is moving from one person to the other, and licensing is a means of giving permission against accreditation, against monetary gain that happens. And from universities, like as I'm a part of the university's tech transfer team, so whatever the academic, I call it as bridging the gap between the academia and the business. So the innovation that happens within the university to collaborate with the industry and transfer it from the university to the industry, that's a mean of IP licensing. That's one reason in there. And for industries, there are various reasons. If industry is local and they want to go international, so they might not have that power to go and produce it in a different country. They can actually license it to somebody who is more potent in that country, and that technology can move over there. So there are various reasons IP licensing happens, and it's a business decision a lot of time. So IP strategy, IP licensing, and business strategy, they all go hand in hand. So it's from case to case, it changes. Hope that answers your question.
Yes, yes, definitely. I think Tanmay could go ahead with her question now.
Yes, ma'am. So basically, ma'am, as you said, that licensing helps people to officially use others' intellectual property. Yes, ma'am, that was really nice. So, ma'am, my next question to you is, would you please tell us about your life as a professional, certified licensing professional? How much do you enjoy your profession, and how is the life of a professional?
Yeah, so to get registered as a certified licensing professional, it was a conscious decision because I thought that propels me in my career, and also that gave me that accreditation of being a licensee. Sorry, as a licensed person dealing in the licensing world. So it helps to the day-to-day working of negotiating the terms in the licensing, and also finding the licensee for the technologies that are developed within the university. And overall, it gave a insight into the whole of the IP valuations, and the whole, as I call it, the life cycle of the IP, from the creation of the IP to the protection and the overall transferring of hands from the innovator, to the licensee who would like to enjoy it. So it's been a great journey, and from day to day, since I work with a lot of academics, it's like every day is a wow moment when you say, "Oh, this also happens." So you try to be ahead of the curve. Might be at times when you know, oh, this is a very rare invention. Might be tomorrow it will turn the world. So yeah, it has been very fulfilling and very satisfying, and I'm very passionate about the work I do.
So allow me, Tanmay and Ahilya, to intervene. I have a question. I'm so sorry. This wasn't planned
Yeah.
and scripted that I'll ask. But Polumi, tell me one thing. See, when many years ago, I mean, this licensing profession was not even known. Even in India, I don't think that there is any certifying agency that does it. And what you did is a global program, right?
Yeah.
What is it that you would like to tell to Indians who want to tread your path? I mean, not everybody can go to UK and do what you did. What can somebody do right sitting here? For example, Ahilya and Tanmay both have some innovation in their hand, and it will be great if they can themselves be the skilled masters in this art. So, what should we do?
Yeah, so for this certification, you need some experience, like around 3 years of experience in the licensing professional or profession. So you need that background for applying for the exam, and also you need to have a bachelor's degree. I think these are the minimum ones that's there. And you then fill up the form, and they have an exam that test you on all the what is it, sectors like IP protection, IP valuations, and technology transfer. So it's I mean, if you're working in the field, you gain experience anyway, and this becomes a bit of easy go that time. And for doing the technology transfer, of course, uh, to say, yeah, certification is good for your career. If you are thinking of taking it up, that's what my mentor in UK advised me, and I thought of going ahead with it. But without it, also you can't do it. It's like you will have the legal or the lawyers helping you with it. And in India, I'm sure there are legal professionals who helps out it. But for budding entrepreneurs like you, I think the most important would be to shape up the innovation, have the IP protection in your mind, and also to look out for, I mean, to be educating yourself, like what licensing is, what type of terms do you want to put in over there, so that you protect your rights and you protect your interest. So that would be my advice.
Right. Thanks, Polumi. Yeah, go ahead, guys.
Yeah, I'm just adding to that question. Can you tell new budding entrepreneurs about how will they go ahead with protecting their IP and what should they do next? As in, just tips to them, few tips to them.
Sorry. For entrepreneurs, of course, um, keep innovating. Like this is for budding ones, this is the age. You are full of ideas and you have the ability to take risks. Like there are statistics that as you grow older, the risk taking ability reduces. Like I work with a lot of startups in our industry, in the sense university, and we have seen the statistic shows that the student enterprises are more than the academic enterprises. So students have that ability to. So be conscious of the IP that you are creating. It doesn't have to be what is a technology. It can be as simple as or assessment of anything or paper of data. So so it has to be it doesn't have to be IP protected in the sense like you don't have to go for a patent protection, but you should be conscious like what is your technology. Do talk to people who understand the IP. Don't go for just filing it in the right away. So seek advice, and there are people who will help you out. At the same time, be conscious to whom you are talking. Have a non-disclosure agreement in place with them, so that they understand that this is confidential information. They are not they should not share it with anybody else. And there are as I was telling, there are different IP rights. So patents, trademark, copyright, trade secrets are coming up, know-how. So be conscious of what you are creating and have a plan in place. And of course, it's a journey. Startups and entrepreneurship is a journey, and you learn on the process. So, and also not only IP, you need to understand the market also, because you need that product market fit. So you should know that there is somebody to actually use your product. So it's a whole journey. That's what I'll say. And be conscious of what IP you are creating. Have a particular protection in place. So understand that what are the protection that each of can be provided, and yeah, keep innovating.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for the tips, ma'am. They were indeed very valuable. So, ma'am, like you talked about the tech transfer, and you also said that it is possible even with IP protection. Would you please brief us more about it, like how it is safe without IP protection, the tech transfer?
So the strongest or hard IP, as we call it, is like the patents and the trademarks. For copyright, not all the like, of course, and also to mention, these are very jurisdictional rights. So if you have a patent in India, you are able to protect your technology in India. You cannot protect your technology in UK or US or any other country. So they are very jurisdictional. And copyright, you don't need to register everywhere. Like in UK, we do not need to register the copyrights. So, and also there are know-hows and trade secrets. Trade secrets also are coming up, and every country has their own way of protecting that. So, of course, patents are good to have, and but they are costly. So you have to go by what type of financial or cash flow you have at the moment to file a patent. So of course, patents are very important, very essential, but it depends how you can go about. It doesn't mean that if you do not have a patent, you cannot actually go about and do business. So it's all it depends at what stage you are, what you are inventing. So I have also seen licensing of know-hows. So if you have a particular technology and you are having a lot of knowledge that has not been published or nobody knows about it, that can be packaged into a know-how and that can be licensed. But yeah, be conscious of what you have and what you want to do, and then devise the plan. So it's like innovation is there. Take a step back, think how the process would be, and then try to do the licensing. But again, licenses are contracts and agreements, so you need a legal advice on that, on the clause. So you can, as we do at times, like you can negotiate the deal on a term sheet, which are non-binding, and then you can seek the help of a lawyer to help you to draft a final contract or agreement.
So follow me, is there a standard term sheet that all of us can use, or
Yeah.
I know it's case by case, a lot of things may change, but is there any
Yes.
template that you guide where people can go download?
I think on the internet you will find the term sheets, but usually it's a few of the, what do you say, the headings are important, like grant, like what actually what type of license you are granting to the other, whether it's exclusive, they are non-exclusive, like they are the only ones who can use it, or there are others that you can give the license to. That is the grant. Then you have to talk about the territory where your license can be used, or the term, how long the license can be used. And all those type of things, or 10 things might be there that you need to negotiate on, or the royalties. That's important. Like, of course, you're licensing for a return. So what that return would be. Royalties in itself is a topic. Like, there are different types of royalty that you can take. It might be on the net sell, on the net receipt, accordingly, like, and whether it can be tied, or it can be lump sum, or it can be drawn to the timelines. That happens a lot in the pharmaceutical sector. So there are like those, as I told, those 10 points. Like, then there is again the liability and the confidentiality clauses. There are 10 clauses that can be most important to be the bone of the license. Then again, you add the flesh later on. So yeah, I think it's easily available on the internet if you put term sheets or data sheets. So it will come up. Sheetal, you are on mute.
Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, we do that always on on the calls.
It happens. You know, the other day I was saying that technology should be smart enough that the moment I start to speak, it should, open up my mic. Then
I
someone
think
said,
we should suggest that.
No, but then they said, are you sure you want to suggest that you need a technology? What if you're fighting with your husband, or maybe you are telling your kids something and automatically it's become unmute. So even the private data will be out. So I thought, yes, even that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tanmay, go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, we have one question from our audience. So the question is like this: that when a patent is filed or licensed by a university, what are the monetary benefits that the university should mandatorily give to the inventor? And how is this different in India and UK?
So that's a very, what do you say, diplomatic question that I have to answer diplomatically. So every university is governed by an IP policy. So it's the university's IP policy that governs that if there is a royalty that is coming out of a universe from a license, how it is to be distributed. So it's I cannot comment on that, but I can tell about my universities. So in our university, whatever royalty comes in from a licensee is distributed among the academics, the inventors, if it's a licensing, up to a certain threshold, or after, yeah. And after that, it's again distributed among the inventor, the university, and the schools. Like, we have 5 schools in the sense of different faculties. So it's like that. So you have to look into your own university's IP policy, and that will determine how it can be done. Sorry, if the alarm sets. Yeah, does that answer your question?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Hello.
Hello.
My pleasure.
Yes, ma'am. So we have another question from our audience. So Dr. Sunita Zahirabadkar from Cummins College is asking this question. So can we start license? The question is, can we start licensing our patents after the patent application gets published, or do we have?
Sorry, I didn't hear the last part of your somehow. I heard till the.
Earlier, you can ask the question again that has come from Dr. Sunita from Cummins College.
Sorry,
there is a network issue. at your end.
I'll ask it for you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, so the question says that for licensing a patent, should we wait for the patent to be granted, or it can be done after it is filed?
Yeah, so this is a bit of strategic. So what I'll say, start. Um, that's the thing. The whole licensing process is not easy. Like innovation, it's not easy, of course. So innovation is a part, and the whole licensing process takes a lot of time. It has been like 5 or 10 years also before uh, innovation can be licensed to a licensee, because these are very early stage technology, and the confidence in the technology takes time. So I would suggest, as soon as a patent is being filed, to start this initiative of reaching out to people to see their feedback, and to see how they stand on the licensing part, to in the sense that the search for the prospective licensee soon after you file an application, because patents are costly, and the whole process of prosecuting it and getting a granted patent can be very costly. So according to this years, as soon as you file a patent, you get this 18 months before it gets published. So this is a window between which you should actually be looking for licensees, and they would also vet the patent. It's not like they will only look for the granted one. So to answer her question, it has to start before even the patent is granted. So start early.
Hey, that was really nice to hear that the system is taking care that we get the most of the benefit after filing our IP. So, ma'am, there's one more question from the audience. It is from Dr. Archana Chaugule. What is the procedure of commercialization after patent is granted?
Okay, so that's what, you don't need to wait till the patent is granted. You can start early. The process of commercialization is the for academia, we look at a very broad way of commercializing our patents. So either it has to be a license, it is a licensing, of course. So either the academics license the technology to the licensee, like the industry, or they form a spin out. So in the sense, they form a startup, and since the university have a shareholding in the companies, so it becomes, we call it a spin out. So the whole commercialization process is like you have to have the, since you already have the IP protection in place, the next stage is to look for the licensee, have the terms agreed with them, like how long they are, since the patent has 20 years of term, so of course you will put that 20 years of term in place. And also at the same time, as I told, know-how is also important. So you should also try to put in know-how in the license agreement, so that you get an extra percentage for the know-how, and you bundle up your IP, and then you try to license it. So it is after the IP protection, seek out for the licensees, have the terms agreed, and have the contract in place. So yeah, that's my advice. Hope that answers the question.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. Thank you. Over to you, Ahilya.
Yes, ma'am. So the next question is by Yashwant Ingre. So he asks, can a patent be filed if we already have a publication on similar content? So can we patent that, please?
You have to, that's what, before filing a patent application, you have to do a prior art search, or to understand what is there and what is not there. If the publication is very similar, like for patentability, you need three things. You need to have the invention novel, you have to have it inventive, and it has to have the industrial application. These are the minimum three criteria. There are other things also that in place. But if your publication is so near that it is the new one, it's not inventive or is very obvious over it. So it will depend whether you would like to file a patent for it, or whether you would have chance to have it granted. Because it might not be considered novel, and your own publication might be a prior art for you. So you need a bit of advice, or seek advice from people who file the patent in India. I'm sure there would be people who won't charge you before filing it. So yeah, always seek out for advices and for startups and young entrepreneurs like you. Don't give out your idea, but try to also talk that way, like keeping it, but at the same time giving somebody the essence of what you are trying to do.
Okay. I think out of time, so I'll hand over to ma'am.
Earlier, there seems to be some problem at your end. Maybe is it that I am only getting that problem or everyone has?
No, there is some interferences.
Yeah.
Ma'am, so reference to referring the previous question, there's one more question from Mr. Ankit Agarwal. So he's asking that how is plagiarism identified, if there's any, in a patent application?
Yeah.
I think the examiner also does a patent search.
Yes.
So from there, you would know that they have databases and also to search that whether this type of invention has already been there. So, and as I say, patents are negative right. You can stop others from using yours. But at the same time, if there has been something that there is some rights already people are holding and you are trying to, even after getting your patent, you can't be filed for infringement. So to answer your question, it would be the examiner pointing out that, okay, there is something similar. And you can also do it yourself because there are landscaping and patent searching tools. So to understand that if there is something similar to yours or not.
Okay, I'll take it up from here now. Since I'm also a timekeeper, it's already sharp 11. But Polami, this has been a great interaction. Thank you so much. It's one request to you is that we might have to invite you again. The reason is that there are certainly a lot of other questions that remains unanswered. For example, somebody from that name's Guru's Mirror Minds, he's asking how to become IP licensing professional. I think it's a very important question that you tried to give even initially, but I think more detailed would be required. And then there are several other questions, from Payal, who's asking about how to do valuation. And there are several
valuation
others.
In itself is a subject.
It's a big
a topic.
Subject. Yes, absolutely. So I think as a team, we would like to reserve your time once again, maybe next month, or we'll let everyone know about it. But thank you so much, Polami. This was really good. It was a new topic. For the past 3 weeks, we were having very senior government officials for an interview, and before that, there were some people from the industry. And now having you, I think it's a good mix of IP community getting built up, and your support as the advisor to IPTSC Academy is also welcoming.
My
So
pleasure.
thank you for that. Yeah, I think with this, thank you so much, Ahilya and Tanmay, for joining in from Cummins College. And we look forward to more interactive engagement. But last announcement that those who have not yet responded to our question, which we asked, that what are the kinds of licenses that you come across and the IP from buying a movie ticket finally to watching it, please post it live, and the best answer will be announced in the next interaction. So wait for that, and we'll come back to you with the right gift at that time. Thank you so much and have a nice time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much.